Hey, hello. You're stuck in traffic with Wolf Gorlick. A couple minutes on IT and IT security. So, I spent a lot of time in the hospital over the past couple weeks. Not me personally. I'm fine. But a good family member, unfortunately, had some troubles. And so I spent a lot of time over at the hospital. And like any caring family member, I did what any one of us would do. I spent a lot of time looking at the technology and thinking about the healthcare side of securing a hospital. Hospitals are like woefully inadequate, as we hear all the time, but then again, everything is woefully inadequate if we're honest. One of the things that's interesting too is the same hospital that my child was born in, right? So I noticed like the heart monitors and everything were like the exact same equipment they had 15 odd years ago. Not a lot of upgrades. So not only do you have environments that are under cost pressure, you have people walking in and out, not good physical security. You also have equipment that is going to be on the hospital floor for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. That needs to be maintained. And on top of that, there's budget pressure. So there's research that came out of Forrester this year. One thing we all know is that hospitals spend less per revenue on IT than other industries. Right? That makes sense. It's not really where they're investing in. The research from Forrester showed something else that shows that they also spend less of that IT budget on IT security. So for most regulated industries, it's a little bit over 20% of the IT budget gets spent on IT security. In medical, it's closer to 14%. So you got less overall budget and less budget being spent on securing the environment. And where's most of that budget going? Of course, it's going towards HIPAA and protecting patient data, right? Which makes sense. So we find ourselves in a similar situation, however, as we did with the VTech breach. Where VTech's like, hey look, we spent all our money on IT security protecting you against PCI breaches. And you're like, yay! But we lost your kids' photos and audio and their address. That's what everybody cared about. I mean, I can replace my credit card, I can't replace my kid. Similarly, in the healthcare environment, most of that security spend goes towards HIPAA, protecting against the health patient data, right? But I can probably get away with my identity being stolen. I can't get away with the death of a loved one. And a lot of their money is not being spent on protecting against that infrastructure. And we know it's vulnerable, right? I already pointed out, they had heart monitors and everything 15 years old in the environment. This past summer, I spent some time with a couple German hackers. They had an awesome demo. It was awesome at the time. Not so awesome remembering it when you're in the hospital looking at a heart monitor. What they did was, they took some of these monitors that are used in the hospital and they had a two-prong attack, and they baked into a Metasploit module. The first prong exploits the device and starts recording the data, right? So you gather all the data. And the second prong is it reboots it and then replays the data. So why is that important? Let's say you're going to have someone go into cardiac arrest, right? Generally, the monitor is going to trip off, trigger, warn the nurses rush down with the crash cart, they save the patient. If someone attacks one of these heart monitors and replays good heartbeats, and then that same patient goes into cardiac arrest, in this particular demo they just simply unplugged them, so it's flatlined, goes into cardiac arrest, that alert doesn't trigger, right? Because it's replaying the normal good heartbeats. So you've got technology that's out of date, you've got technology that's vulnerable to attacks such as the one I saw in over the summer, and you've got a very small spend being spent, and it's all being spent primarily, not all, but primarily on protecting patient data as opposed to patient lives. So, fun things to think about next time you're in the hospital. Lots of things we can do here to correct it. But in our own environments, there's simple lessons learned. What are you doing about your old legacy equipment? What are you doing about making sure that you're protecting the mission of the organization, not just meeting a compliance standard? Cheers.